Guys, in this video, I don't even want to post it, to be honest, because it's giving away too much value. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I would do exactly step by step if I was to start a new agency and scale it to 10K a month or 20K a month as quickly as possible, yeah? The exact steps that I would do, right? Number one is, let me just switch myself around the other way. First thing I would do is obviously set up the business, right? So set up the business, I'll go on Company's House, CH. I would then obviously register a company, stir. I would then get a bank account set up, sign up to Ghostmail so I can register in the UK if I'm abroad, Ghostmail. Then from there, once I have a bank account set up, I would deposit maybe, actually you don't need anything. Let's pretend we don't have anything. Bank account, actually, maybe let's put a bit in there. So bank account, we'll put 200 quid in there, 200 startup capital. Not gonna need all of that. Then what we'll do is we will buy a dialer, so close CRM or close CRM. Then set up my website on Lovable. So what's Lovable? Lovable is where you can basically prompt AI to create a website for you. I then buy a Claude subscription. That's maybe $20, something like that, like a pro account, maybe like $20, $30 for that. What else? Maybe for closed CRM, that'll probably cost me maybe $100 for the month. So you don't even really need that. You could literally just use your phone. Then from there, once I have those bits set up, I'll probably buy a domain as well from like Pork Bun, so I can set up my email address and set up my website and stuff like that. But I wouldn't spend too much time doing all of that nonsense, right? Because that's not what's gonna get me money. That's not what's gonna get me clients. So what would I do to get clients? Let me change the pen. To actually have a functioning business, what I need is cash, right? And what I'm gonna do for that cash is I'm going to start calling either through Google Maps, Gmaps, which Claude will pull me. Claude will pull, you can use Appify for Gmaps as well. That'll be the free version. Appify for Gmaps data, or you can use Apollo, apollo.io, which will then you'll be able to pull a list from as well. So there's a few different options which you can use to pull lists. It depends what niche you're going after as well. So you'd want to pick a niche. I'll be like, okay, what's a competitive niche that other people are making money in? What is this niche continuously buying? Do a little bit of research on that. Probably most likely just start sending leads because that's what I know what to do. And I would then start calling. So once I have my list, like either through Apollo, Appify or Gmaps, that list is probably gonna cost you like, I don't know, $50 to $100 for like most of the industry, depending on where you're located. Once you have that list, once you have your phone, you're gonna start making calls. You then want a CRM, so you can either do that through Claude Code, but if you're not that advanced, you can literally just use something like or like a free version of Airtable or something like that to store your prospects and have them in a bit of a Kanban view where you can take them from stage to stage. I'd map out what my process is going to look like. I'd probably just do a one call close just to get cash in as quick as possible. So it'd be like call, book, pitch, follow up, which would ideally be where I collect cash or get people on board. So that's that process there. Done, got that mapped out. I would then try and build a pitch deck. So maybe get Claude, be like, hey Claude, do you want to create me a pitch deck with this offer? And then make it look all professional, try and build a bit of credibility in what you're doing, talk about your story, talk about the offer, all that sort of stuff. Just package it up nicely so you have something to present them when they jump on call. From there, you're ready to start prospecting, yeah? So I would just start making calls. It's gonna be cheaper than setting up cold email to start off with, but as soon as I start getting some cash in, I would set up cold email. So what I would do straight away is I would start calling once I have the list, and I would basically be saying something along the lines of, hey, I can get you in front of X industry. You would only pay if you attend the appointment, no upfront fees. Right, so what does that mean? That means, hey, I can get you in front of the industry that they're targeting. You would only pay if you attend the appointment, no upfront fees, right? Letting them know that there's no upfront cost, all that sort of thing. I would make 200, 300 calls a day, 200, 300 calls a day. And I would just do that until my diary is absolutely stacked and I'm sitting like loads of sales calls every day, probably 5 sales calls a day. Probably start booking in 5 to 10 bookings a day pretty quickly if you just really hammer it. This is really important. This is going to get you to cash as quick as possible, yeah, if you just start hammering calls. And you're also going to be able to build out your offer. A lot of people try and make that offer perfect before they make calls. It's backwards. You need to make calls first and then build out your offer as you go along, right? Relationships is the most important thing. And then the key thing here is that people aren't going to book in on the first call a lot of the time. They're going to ask for emails, they're going to ask for all sorts of stuff. So what you need to do is you need to start building up a pipeline, yeah, in your CRM or wherever you've got it, of people who are potentially interested but need more information and so on, right? Then you'll have people who book in that sort of drift off. You then have people that you pitch that sort of drift off. The people that you send contract to that you pitch went off, all that sort of thing. You just need to keep that train going and make sure you're logging, you're being organized with all of that sort of stuff. There's nothing worse than being disorganized, right? People won't trust you. You need to make your offer really good. So like I said before, no upfront fees. You're gonna charge after you deliver service, right? And some people won't pay, but if you genuinely have a good relationship for them, you're showing them that you're working really hard for them, then that's gonna work. Now, obviously this is not gonna work forever because you're running an agency for liberty, but obviously, in this case, you're working for 5 different people at the same time and you're working overtime. The first things first is get cash in and then worry about that problem after, right? So be overworked and then hiring people to work for you who can fulfill those things. So the first thing is getting demand, right? You're not supply constrained, you're demand constrained, yeah? Once you've got arms and legs out in different directions, then you start getting people in to replace those things for you. So going back to the situation that we're in right now, yeah? We're doing 200 to 300 calls per day. What do we actually do, right? We're gonna get them on a call, yeah? From the phone call, we're gonna get them onto a Google Meet. From the G Meet, once that G Meet's booked, you wanna make sure that you're doing a pre-call. So you're calling them before the appointment, just making sure that they're all ready for the call, they know what the call's about, all that sort of thing. Once you do the pre-call, you're then ready for the appointment. That's also going to increase your show rate as well, doing the pre-call. It's really important you do that. Don't miss that step out. Once you do the appointment, yeah, you're basically going to ask questions about their business, see if it is a good fit from their side. Then you're going to run through your pitch, yeah, and then you're going to try and obviously close them. Ideally taking money up front if you can, but obviously if you've got your offer done like this and you would prefer to do it backwards, it's not gonna, you can still build like really good businesses and it's best to do this to get you off the ground, but yeah. If you can collect cash up front, I would have that as another option as well. If you're using through the marketing, getting people in on a no upfront cost sort of basis, but then you have like an upfront cost sort of model, which is more lucrative than the pay after model, but is still good for you, then I would still have that in place. But yeah, once you have people on call, you start going through that process, start getting feedback from the market, start building out your offer. The main thing is just to get clients on and go from there. So from there, you got getting people on calls. You want to take as many calls as possible and make as many calls as possible. So make calls, take calls. This is all you should be doing until you get to 10, 15 clients, yeah? Even then, you continue to keep the sales train going. If you can get people to fulfill for you and you can keep the sales train going, you're going to scale much faster, right? So make calls, take calls. Once you get 10 clients on, then obviously start figuring out how, when you get your first client on, obviously you want to be doing that. But once you've got 10 clients on, you really want to be prioritizing it, especially to start off with, to build out a good process, yeah? Build out a good process. So fulfill, create repeatable process, then replace yourself. Once you're able to replace yourself, then you go ham on the sales side of things and just keep pouring into that, yeah? Keep pouring into that. Once you've figured out the back-end fulfillment process, making that consistent, making that a client ascension journey rather than client churn journey. You don't want people coming in quick and then leaving quick. If they're leaving really quick and not continuously buying, then you've got a bit of an issue in terms of keeping clients and stuff like that. You want a service where clients can continuously buy from you over years, over decades, hopefully. Then you've got a really good business model on the back end, right? Especially if you can close them easily. If you can get them in, like no upfront fee, fulfill them really well where they want to keep buying from you and you can keep churning that process out, then you're going to do really well in your agency. So in terms of the 10 clients, pretty much all you need to do is just make calls, take them through a sales pitch, close them, and then Once you got around 10 clients, I would then start focusing on back-end fulfillment and stuff like that. And you can get those 10 clients probably in 2 months, and then bang, you're pretty much at 10K a month. So that's what I would do if I wanted to get to 10K a month really quickly. I would do all the things that I mentioned there and then focus purely on making calls and taking calls. And then you're gonna scale like crazy. So if you found value from that, make sure you subscribe, make sure you help me get to 100 subscribers, and also help yourself in the process, because I'm sharing all of this lovely stuff. And if you have any specific questions, make sure you follow me on Instagram as well. You can drop me a DM there, or you can click on my website and apply for coaching there as well. So nevertheless, I'll see you in the next one.